What's going on, champs and champettes? It's FireMonkey here, and in today's YouTube video, we have to talk about Cyberpunk 2077 x Fortnite and what happened with Atom Smasher. Now, this is going to be a lot more speculation and just kind of discussing the facts than it is going to be saying exactly what is happening and when it will be releasing, because we honestly don't know. There's a lot of unknown variables about this, but there is some things that could potentially lead us to a conclusion of what actually happened. But on March 18th of 2026, so a month or two ago at this point, we ended up getting a Cyberpunk 2077 x Fortnite Wave 2 promotional teaser, which was just kind of the Cyberpunk logo and the Fortnite logo next to each other, and then it had the text of Arasaka's ultimate weapon, and a lot of people like me made videos about it. Now, I didn't really want to go the Atom Smasher angle because that was a skin that I didn't really think would work in Fortnite, and you know, it should have been more obvious, right? It was probably going to be Atom Smasher, but I made the video, I was talking about like, oh, you know, maybe it could be for Phantom Liberty, we can get like Songbird or someone else in the game, but it ended up actually being Atom Smasher, and then we didn't really hear that much about it. It got added to the files in the V40.10 update, a part of the Night City Denizen set, had the description of Night City's Boogeyman, the Ender of Legends, and it was an epic rarity outfit, which is interesting because it means that it wasn't a part of the Gaming Legends series, meaning it might have been unfinished. Now, despite this, it has been months now, basically. We're almost going on 2 months since the original announcements of this collaboration to begin with, and nothing's actually come from it. So what could have happened? Why might this have been delayed or, you know, scrapped or whatever else? Well, the reason why I think it was scrapped or potentially delayed is because the exact same time it was going to release was going to be the exact same day we had the layoffs at Epic Games. Now, there's obviously been a lot of stuff going on with Epic Games. You know, we had the V-Buck price increases, we had over 1,000 people getting laid off, we have a lot of weird stuff going on with the API now, such as playtest server responses showing up in the actual API for people. We've had stuff like them using placeholder event flags and stuff in order to do power hours. There's a lot of things here and there that are just very scuffed right now with the game, and you know, it sucks to see that some of the people who are holding the glue together with Fortnite seem to have left with these layoffs and seem, well, you know, they didn't really have a choice to leave, but they were kind of forced out of here because of the layoffs, and it might have actually impacted this type of collaboration happening because CD Projekt Red might have seen all this and decided to either wait a little bit, or maybe the people who were working on the negotiations behind the scenes with CD Projekt Red just don't work there anymore. So it's like a situation like when I was with G Fuel, I ended up having a day where my partner manager at G Fuel ended up like losing his job. Like he contacted HR about something the CEO said or something, I forget the exact details, and everyone who contacted HR ended up getting fired because of that. And in order for me to leave my G Fuel partnership, I had to literally go contact other content creators who were with G Fuel and be like, how can I leave this? Is there anyone I can talk to? Because I still had my code active. I was still, you know, making money from G Fuel, but I had no one to talk to. I couldn't speak with anyone about getting a code percentage increase to 30% off or whatever. I couldn't talk to anyone about the analytics. They had sent me like a site to sign up on, but the site wasn't even finished or something. And because of that type of experience I had before, I could see that being one of the things that potentially would have happened here. However, I definitely think that since something like Atom Smasher requires a lot more teams than just, you know, 1 or 2 people, it might have been a little bit more unlikely that the contact had actually been severed from that actual delay and everything. Now, something that makes this a little bit more interesting, and the reason why we know that it was originally planned for the March 24th item shop reset, which was the same day that the layoffs and everything happened, was because of the fact that in the peak version of the item shop, so when the peak skin released in the item shop and everything, on their Discord they had one of those like this week in the Fortnite shop showcases, and in that video was Atom Smasher for March 24th, meaning it was originally planned for that date, and then something happened to the point where by the time they had actually posted the original, or I guess like the proper version on Twitter and everything else, it didn't mention Atom Smasher anymore. But when they had finalized the peak collaboration, it did actually mention Atom Smasher potentially being a part of the whole release and everything else, and here we are. It's been basically a month now. There's still people asking me in Twitter comments and everything else, when is Atom Smasher releasing in Fortnite? The skin is still in the game files. Technically, the collaboration could happen. I mean, we already had the announcement of it back in March, but because of the layoffs and everything else, people speculate that that's the reason we haven't actually seen Atom Smasher in the game, and that's the reason that he might just be locked in the game files, never releasing. Only time will really tell, but I'd love to hear in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this? I've also seen some people online mention stuff about how, in Cyberpunk 2077, there's a lot of, things about anti-corporation, especially from Johnny Silverhand, so maybe that could be one of the reasons, it didn't release, because Cyberpunk's against, layoffs and all that type of stuff. They hate how corporations act, but at the same time, you gotta realize that's just a story in a video game made by a corporation, so I'm not for sure if that is actually the exact reason why, but I wouldn't be surprised if layoffs were one of the reasons why this collaboration got delayed, scrapped, or whatever else. Until next time, I hope champs and champions enjoyed today's YouTube video. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, and I'll catch you all tomorrow on another upload, so until then, peace out.